Hey y'all, it's Ashton. I miss you guys. So this is my video to show the 10 ways to be a successful tech. So my first point is to get a good night's sleep. So I say this is an important way to be a successful tech because it'll be more beneficial to each patient that you deal with throughout the day. If you're super tired, I feel like you really don't give each patient the care that they need. Also, it'll give you more energy, especially if you're on call that night. Getting a good night's sleep the night before will help in case you get called out the night that you're on call. Alright, so my second step is to eat a good breakfast. In my opinion, if you're in a surgery and you feel like you're going to pass out or you're getting weak or something, you're really not in the right field because, hello, you're going to see some nasty stuff in surgery. But eating a good breakfast will also help that too. And it'll give you enough energy up until you have time to eat lunch. And honestly, you never know whenever you're going to eat lunch. So always eat a good breakfast to prevent any of that. So this step is probably one of my favorites because we've heard a ton about it. And it is to not be cocky and to never say, I know. We've heard plenty about it. Surgery people aren't nice. They will tell you that you do not know and that karma will come back and bite you in your So, enough said. You know what I'm talking about. Alright, so this step I think is pretty important as well as any other step, but this one I feel like is really important because it's to always be ready for the unexpected. You never know when any simple case can turn into an emergency. It could even be just a simple ortho or tubes in the ears for ENT. So I think you should always be ready for anything that could happen in any type of surgery, any specialty. So I feel like it is important to be ready and be prepared immediately for any supplies that the surgeon will need whenever something bad will turn. So I feel like we know a lot about this step, communication and teamwork. It is one of the biggest things in the OR. Having effective communication and teamwork in the operating room doesn't just come from the techs, it comes from everybody. Nurses will communicate with us about patient allergies. Surgeon will communicate with the tech and the first assist about any instruments or what the procedure is going to consist of. We want to have good communication and teamwork so the patient can get appropriate care that they need. So this is really important, not just for OR staff. In my opinion, it's important for any type of job, especially in the medical field. I feel like some people don't think this is important, but to me it's important, especially to be a successful tech, and that is to know the surgeon. And to know the surgeon and what instruments they use and how they do procedures, I feel like is very important because I know especially general surgeons and ortho surgeons do a lot of the same procedures, but they use different instruments, or they go a different route, I guess you could say, for the procedure. So several of these things will be found on the preference card about like what instruments they use and everything like that. But even if you want to know more about how they do a case or anything about that, you can always talk to other techs who have had experience with the surgeon. And that is also a good way to communicate as well, leading back to my last step. So another step to be a successful surgical tech is to have anticipation. This will make the surgeons happy, and we know we do not like mad surgeons. It is very important to have an instrument or any supplies that you know the surgeon will need next ready to either hand to the surgeon or the first assist. It will help the case go as smooth as possible, and once again, it will help the surgeon stay happy. So this step kind of leads back to anticipation. It is knowing your anatomy. Knowing your anatomy is very important whenever it comes to anticipation because you need to know what you're working on so you can hand them the correct instrument. For example, you don't want to hand any type of pickups with teeth whenever you're working on the bowel or something like that. So you need to know what you're working on to know what instruments you need to have ready to give to either the first assist or the surgeon. Alright, this step is to study your cases so you are prepared. I feel like, especially as a new surgical tech, this is very important because you could be in a case that you haven't really had experience with. So you can refer back to your pocket guide that gives a lot of information about instruments and how the case goes and what suture, etc. So I feel like studying your cases before the case starts, or if you know what case you're on the night before, you can always refer to any type of appropriate Google link or anything like that to give you how the surgery will go. So it is very important to know your cases and how they're going to be run. That way you can be prepared the next day and to keep your surgeon happy. Alright, so last step, and I think it is one of the most important, and that is surgical conscience. Having surgical conscience is not good for just you, it's amazing for the patient. If you accidentally contaminate something while you're in the operating room by yourself setting up, you need to speak up, get new supplies, and take action on that contamination and make it sterile. Either if that's just putting a towel over it, or if you contaminated the whole pack, you need to get a new pack and restart from the beginning. This will prevent the patient from having an SSI post-op, and it could even save the patient from dying, because who knows how bad the infection could be, and any infection could possibly lead to death. So those are my 10 ways, and I hope y'all enjoyed them. I feel like I'm an Instagram blogger or something, and Lord, these nails need done, and these eyebrows, and my hair, everything. So I miss you guys, and I hope y'all enjoy this video.